What's going on, folks? Appreciate y'all chiming in so far. So good to see all y'all. So we got a couple questions here. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna kind of explain what I was doing there, MIDI wise, and of course effects wise. What's going on, folks? Feel free to chime in. Feel free to ask questions. Everybody chime in where they from. If you're not understanding what I'm saying or explaining about MIDI and how it can potentially make your life so much easier on your pedal board, just let me know. I got you. So let's go ahead and get started here. What we have right out the gate, this particular sound consists of the Empress compressor, the Hog 2, the ToneX one, which is available if you want. If you want a ToneX one, which I recommend it, highly recommend it. It's a link in the description. Definitely helps out the channel. And the male 9 with the Enzo X, the chorus from the Enzo X, and the Mercury X, right? So one of the that's the whole sound. Now, in terms of MIDI, right? So the way I have it set up here is there's 5 pedals here total that use MIDI. So I have the Future Impact V4 VIP, this red pedal, the Hog 2, the Enzo X by Meris, Line 6 HX1, and the Meris Mercury X. All of those are on MIDI, or linked together through MIDI. So I have, and then underneath the board, I have a CME H4 MIDI Pro, which is similar. Let me see, let me pull this over here. I have a smaller one that connects the keyboard that I have hooked up to the rig as well. So this is the CME H2 MIDI Pro. And this is the smaller version. This one only has 2 MIDI ports and a USB port and a USB-C port. And this USB port allow you up to 8 USB effects on here can be controlled at a time. Things like the Zoom multi-stomps or what else is on USB MIDI? The source audio pedals, things like that are all on. And I'm actually running the HX1 on USB MIDI just because the MIDI ports were on the side here. So it kind of made the spacing of the pedals a little too much for what I want. Oh, we got folks chiming in from Italy. Appreciate you chiming in. You know what I'm saying? Got the usual suspects starting to pop in the house as usual. Feel free to chime in. So this box pretty much, it's a bigger version of this box. It has twice as many ports, so 2 MIDI in, 2 MIDI out, and the same USB configuration. And conveniently runs on 9-volt, 500 milliamp hours. That way, works right with your pedal supply, or you can power it through USB. So let me hook this back up. So that's underneath the board, the bigger version of that, what you just saw. Let's see, where did that go just now? Oh, there we go. Wow. So the way I have it hooked up, I have all that hooked up to that, and then down here on the floor, let's see. On the floor, I have the MIDI Captain. Now, one thing I figured out about the MIDI Captain, this is super important if you're going to use it. Mind you, hit the like button and subscribe, all that good stuff. And feel free to do super chat, cash app, if you find all this information useful to you. So the MIDI Captain here actually stores all my MIDI preset. So I can use it to control presets for each different pedal. I can use it to control any of the parameters that the pedals allow to be controlled through MIDI with the MIDI Captain. And I was doing a bit of that there, where I was playing a sound, holding it, using the freeze on the Hog 2, which is attached to here. So now, through MIDI, and then when I release it, it's off. So one thing that's cool about the MIDI Captain is it allows you 6 parameters for the press and 6 parameters for the release. So if I press this, that's 6 parameters. And then when I release it, that's another 6 parameters that can be triggered. So very useful in that way. And not just presets, like I said, parameters. You know what I'm saying? You can turn on a bunch of, have stuff going crazy, modulating. You can set the range of each individual thing. So one thing I did figure out about this, I kept when I would use one power supply, it would, and I was programming it, when I would go to hit it again for it to save, it would glitch out a little bit. And then I would have to go in and put another file on there to replace that one that glitched. So I recommend getting some rechargeable batteries, right? Get the rechargeable AA's, stick them in here, and then use another power supply in addition to that continually charges those batteries. That way it never loses power. And since I've done that, I haven't had any glitches. So, you know, I would definitely recommend that if you're going to use a MIDI Captain. Get you some rechargeable batteries and use the USB or the 9-volt power outlet there. So, and this can also be powered by a power supply, a pedalboard power supply as well. So, all right. So let's see how this can be useful to us now that we kind of understand that. What's going on? Appreciate you, sis, over on Facebook. Appreciate you. Love you. So we have the Axiom 61 key hooked up to the MIDI, the H2 MIDI Pro that's underneath the board as well. So, and that's hooked to the other H2 MIDI, which is running MIDI over to a Yamaha motif that I have all the way on the other side of the room. So the Yamaha motif's over there, this Axiom's over here, and I still have access to be able to play my Enzo X sounds with the keyboard if I would like to. For example, if I wanted to say, where we at? Oh, that's channel 5, genius. Let's say we do that. Let's put it on picture. Put this on now. The MIDI Captain back on the floor because not only does it act as my preset changes or store my preset changes, I also have so I have the first 5 pages set up for each pedal. So channel 1 is the Hog 2, MIDI channel 2 is the Future Impact V4 VIP, channel 3 is the Enzo X, and channel 4 is the HX1, channel 5 is the Mercury X. So with that being the case, and this is the other thing I love about the Enzo X, just side note, it can instantly go from being controlled by a keyboard to being controlled by my bass. First of all, Meris is genius. All this stuff is genius. I love it. The Mercury X, Enzo X, can't recommend them enough. I know they're a little expensive, but they're not expensive when you think about how many pedals they've actually replaced for me. So, you know, I've already done videos about that, but, you know, I can say about they replaced about 6 or 7 pedals on my pedal board. So, quite worth. And not just replaced it, upgraded those effects, in my opinion. What's going on? Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, I love my bass. This is actually an Artisan Bass Works. They don't exist anymore, the company, and this is actually a one of one, so, you know, it's the only one that exists, so, you know, I definitely love it, cherish it, but, yeah, thanks, appreciate that. So, we can now use, let's switch we're going to switch, let's switch the Enzo X to a flanger sound. Right, we're going to also kick on the Hog 2. All right, so now that we got all that on, so now I'm going to use the MIDI captain to control the freeze gliss function. I do have an expression pedal down here running to the Hog 2, and I actually have 4 different expression pedals down here on the floor that that you can't see, but I'm gonna do it from the MIDI captain, because a lot of times I don't like taking the expression pedals. Expression pedals be a lot of extra work, you know what I'm saying, to take, just because they're not already on the board. The MIDI captain is just one extra thing, and I can have it control all those same functions, but with a press of a button instead of, you know, a foot switch, expression pedal. And it'll just sustain. So now I'm just using the foot switch. I don't have to actually have my pedal board on the floor. And I actually kind of prefer this, especially when I'm working here in the studio, especially. I can have my pedal board up and have more access to it. I really might put it on another keyboard stand and then have it come up over. Ooh, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on another keyboard stand and then pull it over this axiom. And that way it kind of acts as like a rack over it. You know what I'm saying? And then that'll make my life even easier. Huh. Why I didn't think of that before? That's kind of... Let me do that real quick. Let me see how that would look. Let me do that while I'm on camera. I'll talk to y'all while I'm doing it. But, matter of fact, I'm not going to do it right now. I'll wait. Because I don't need to really touch the board at the moment, right? Yeah, I mean, well, I probably won't grab. It's not the wires that make expression pedals a hassle for me. It's just the carrying them carrying the expression pedal itself is an extra thing to carry for me. That's what it really is, you know what I'm saying? It's not really that, it bothers me to plug it in. That's not an issue. It's an issue to just bring an extra expression pedal. Now, I will say the MIDI Captain allows you to, you can use up to 2 expression pedals and route them to different MIDI sources, like multiple MIDI sources if you would like at once. So that's something else the MIDI Captain allows you to do. But yeah, so, I can also use the freeze function on the Mercury X as well. I gotta switch to a patch that does it. And then I got multiple freeze options on the board, that way as well as the Future Impact has a freeze sustain function as well. And the, what else? The MXR bass synth also has a sustain function as well. So you can press the foot switch here and it'll sustain it. But, yeah, so essentially, I can set this up so it just goes to this patch, right? Whether, so it pretty much, essentially to get to this patch, it would take me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different commands, right? To be able to control all the MIDI pedals with one press of the button and get them to change to whatever I need them to change to. So say I needed this on preset 1. Well, let's move this MIDI Captain back. Because essentially it's just programming it into it. So I'm actually going to set this like right here. Hopefully it doesn't change anything in the meantime. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's just change them all the way down. So, first thing I would start with would be channel 1. So, got to change the MIDI on the MIDI Captain. I'm changing this to channel 1. You got to hit the foot switch and then press this button. It takes you, if you're in Super Geek mode, I do all of mine in Super Geek mode just because it allows for a lot of flexibility. So here, I'm gonna change it to channel 1 and then a PC message, which is program change. Think of the PC as a preset, preset change, but it's really program change. So I'm gonna change that to PC, then PC1. All right. Now I'm gonna come to here, channel 2. I'm changing this to channel 2. Any of these six press parameters or whatever, you gotta set it to different whatever MIDI channel you want it to. It's not gonna just go to it. So, and most MIDI controllers are gonna work like this, somewhat, to a certain extent. It might not look like this, and be in this exact presentation, but they'll all work like this. So now I'm gonna want, let me see, let me gotta get my notebook. See, what I wrote down in my notebook here is all my presets I wanted to map out, as well as the CC messages that I needed for different things. So I need to bypass the future impact, so that's CC number 69. So we're gonna change this to 69. Bam, and 0. Typically 0 to 63 is off, and then 63 and I think it's 0 to 62, and then 63 to 127 is usually on. But if you were setting, say, a filter, you wanted a filter to open and close as you doing it, you can have it toggle, or you can have it set the press for one value and the release for another value. For instance, if you wanted something to go on, and then when you press it and release, you wanted it to go off, you set the CC message for, in this case, 69, 127 on the press, and then on the release, you go down, set up the channel, turn it to CC, turn it to 69, and then 127. So, or 0, rather. So on and off, whichever way you want to do it. So 127, I just set mine to 127 or 0 when I'm doing on and off. So hope that helps. In this case, I want it off, so meaning that's going to be on. I just turned it on, so when I press it, and once it saves and all that, it will turn off. Then we come over here, Midi channel 3. We want another program change from the Enzo X, the big gold pedal. We're going to change that to, we want to have that on 34 for the flanger there. Number 4, we're going to set to 122. So channel 4, program change, PC, 122. And mind you, the cool thing, I know it takes some time to set up. I know, it's like, that's a lot to have to go through. But once it's done, you know what I'm saying, you now got sounds locked in, ready to go. You're not fiddling around on stage. It's not about, everything in music is about preparation prior to being on stage. And we'll change MIDI channel number 5 is the Mercury X, so we'll change it to PC message number 96. And that's everything we need. So now we'll just, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep. So that's going to tell everything what we needed to do. We're going to change this to 19. We're going to change this to 3. Change that to 38. We're going to change this to 115. We're going to turn this on. So when we go and we hit this button, we're going to go ahead and save that. So now when we hit that button, it's going to change the Hog 2 to number 1. It's going to turn this off. It's going to turn this to whatever thing it's supposed to be. Just going to change this to 122. And it's going to change that to 96. So let's try it out. 1, 2, 3. Bow. So just that fast. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we're going to turn that to toggle. Turn that to toggle. me change this to 66. Set that to toggle. There we go. All right, so as you can see, everything changed. If I change everything, turn that on. I'm gonna change that. Matter of fact, let's do this. Change this to bass real quick. Change this to a completely different sound. So that's the sound we got right now. We're gonna go from this sound. Press the button. Now, I think I'm just going to turn this off a toggle and turn that back to 0. Perfect. So now when I switch to it, we're going to go back, do it again. So you see, whole different sound. But yeah, so that's the power of a MIDI board. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally, you know, just change things so quickly. Like, you know, you saw it took me more time to manually go through and mess everything up on purpose, changing, you know, the channels than it did to just press the button after. It took a while to set it up, right? But once it was set up, wow, it just so easy. It's just so easy. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I probably will have to integrate like my notes into an app at some point. You know what I'm saying? I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I got an iPad and iPhone, all that good stuff. So I'll definitely check it. He said on song. Yeah, I'll check that out. What's going on, folks? Appreciate all y'all chiming in. It's just amazing the sounds you can get. And this actually wasn't even something I intentionally set it up, but I didn't even have this patch in mind per se. Like I said, if I want to control any of the pedals, functions like the hold modifier on the Mercury. Now I got my freeze functions. What's this one? If I want to use the flux function on the HX1, I got it set up for that, for any additional delay I need. So now I got two different delay settings in one preset, you know. Makes my life a lot easier. And I can also modify things. Got a whole modifier on the Enzo X as well. And then that beautiful freeze function on top, while I still can control the filter with the expression pedal. You know what I'm saying? One of my biggest things with the Hog 2, I always wanted to use the freeze function and the filter at the same time, like meaning I wanted to be able to control the filter and the freeze function at the same time. So that definitely gives me that freedom to do that. Yeah, that's all the Mercury X. The Mercury X is so fire, man. And this the other part of the MIDI rig. You know, like I said, I have it rigged up for the Future Impact and the Enzo X to be controlled with the MIDI controller as well. MIDI, and I also have this MIDI controller set up to go going over to the Yamaha motif that's on the other side of the room. So if I wanted to, I could also have the MIDI captain set up to change program, you know, sounds, change sound. I probably will, now that I'm thinking about it, change sounds on the motif over there as well. Because I only really using like the EP and stuff. I use all my EP and maybe the piano, some of the pianos, but let's get that. And you know, so everything's still set up so I can do a ton of different stuff like that. If I wanted to, I can come over here, put this MIDI captain back on the floor. Now I can use the Mercury X sustain or freeze function and use the sustain pedal at the same time. Sustain. The other thing I love about the Mercury X, it allows you to sustain that, but it still allows you to use the reverb and everything is still able to go. Typically for something you don't want so much. You know, I got a little studio reverb put up here. And the keyboard, I have a whole separate little pedal set up over here. That's just the 3 pedals, the MS-60CDR, the TC Electronic Plethora X1, and the Source Audio Atlas compressor. So and I like this because now it's like I got 2 separate sustain pedals for different things, for the Enzo X, and then like the actual keyboard sound. So if I want to sustain the keys, and where I have that pad set up, it doesn't get in the way. You know what I'm saying? But if I wanted to sustain the pad, oh, sorry, wrong preset. And you just simply, if the pad is too loud, you know, say like that's a little too much for you, just bring it back. You could do it in the preamp section. You can change the mix. See, now I got that reverb sustaining there. Use the clean sound. And because I'm not sustaining from the actual Enzo X, I'm still having full use over the synth. And because the Mercury X is so amazing, even when I'm freezing the reverb, I still have full access to the reverb there. And on the keyboard side, I still have that sustain pedal that I can use even while it's sustaining, right? Without worrying about it sustaining the synth, the pad sound. So it just makes for a really flexible rig. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Just stupidness. playing with the Enzo X. First of all, see, that's me doing, and all this is set up on one page. So once I'm to this sound, all I have to do from here is go to page 6 and just control everything. I probably set it up. I figure a way to set it up where it won't be such a hassle to switch back and forth between the pages. My main thing right now is I ain't got the best eyes, so this little screen on this MIDI captain doesn't help me with the tiniest, text size, but we'll try to figure that out as well. But yeah, so just the foolishness of being able to do that, like, it's crazy. Turn this off. Come on now. Stop playing with the Enzo X like it ain't is what it is. Like, you just hold the Mercury X. No, this is a MIDI captain. So, the MIDI captain is just a what is this, 10-button MIDI controller. And all I'm doing is, like I said, I have the basic things right now mapped out to these pedals. So this page here on the MIDI captain, because it's broken down into 16 pages, and then, you got the up and down button. Those can either be set to something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have them as up down buttons. You can actually use those as presets, and those are fully configurable too, just like all the other foot switches. But I leave them as up and down just so, because that's just easier for my mind to wrap around. Then there's another 8 buttons, right? So those 8 buttons on this particular page, page 6, because I said the first 5 pages are set up for each pedal. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5. So but those are all presets. Like, the first 5 pages is all presets from the different pedals. And so now on page 6, what I have, is the hold modifiers and like the expression things. Like on the Hog 2, I can use the freeze gliss, and I can use the filter at the same time. Like, I have one button for the freeze gliss, one button for the filter, and then the filters also can be mapped to the expression pedal I have on the floor. I know this is kind of confusing for some folks, but just try to follow me. Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The Enzo X is crazy for that. And what's going on, Big Son-O? What's going on? See, all the usual suspects. Porch Bass, Big Son-O, all y'all showing up. I seen Alec in here a few times, I believe, as well. Midi Mad Scientist. Appreciate all y'all. And first off, let's stop for a second. Shout out to all the Patreon subscribers, all the Patreon supporters that buy the preset packs, and all of you guys that have done super chats and cash apps. Thank you. I truly appreciate all you guys, and it ain't it ain't easy to come across money these days, and you guys still take the time to support me, and I appreciate that a lot. So thanks. So yeah, we gonna try. We trying to get it in. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about the Enzo X is you will get the same sound. You know what I'm saying? You'll get the same sound. playing it with your bass or your keys or whatever. So, which is super amazing. Like how we've asked for that type of action for years, but now we got it. We can do it. And that just actually customize that glissando effect there as well. Like I can make that longer if I wanted to. This is where the modifiers and the expression pedal stuff on the Meris Series X stuff is just fire. I mean, it just lets you do so much. So let me see. Let me come over to the modifier whole part. I can set that attack to where it takes a while. See how it's getting? Let's make it take a whole 2 seconds. I can make it instant. But we'll go back to where we had it at. The fact that you can do the ridiculous stuff you can do, and I can just flop back and forth between my bass and say I wanted to make that, you know, I could make this pretty much a patch. If I want to get to this sound like this really quickly, I know that's the thing. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all the Meris pedals. It's like they sound as good as they sound as you hear me playing. When these sound, that's the cool thing about the synth stuff. That synth sound is gonna sound like that when you, if you play it or I play it, because it's a synth sound, right? It's just about what you choose to play with it. Just like that EP is gonna sound like that when you play it, or when I play it, but it just depends on what you choose to play with it, right? And the reverbs, all that. It's still going. That's so amazing. Like, that is so crazy that they just have jammed. Turn on the flux. On the HX1. Take it away. Bring it back. You know how it just opens the sound up? That Adriatic delay on the HX1 is one of my favorites. Also the glitch delay. You can really get those lo-fi sounds like that. It's like, it's almost like a chase mood, you know what I'm saying? Like type thing. Or any of those like lo-fi type of things, you know what I'm saying? No, yeah, the keyboard, it can. The Mel 9 actually tracks amazing with anything. Like, you can actually play key sounds through it if you wanted to, and it's gonna track it as well. So that's another option. And then you mixing that with the anything. So it just gets crazy, the stuff you could really achieve with this one little pedal board, simply because, you know, Midi is involved. It actually, even though this is individually, these are complex pedals. Like the Future Impact, the Hog 2, the Enzo X, the Mercury X, those are very extensive pedals that have a ton of parameters. I mean, like, if you don't know what you're doing, you get lost in there. That's why I create presets for all these packs. You know what I'm saying? So, you check those out on the Patreon for all the various pedals, the Future Impact, Enzo X, all the Zoom multi-stomps, you know what I'm saying? The Zoom B6, all that stuff is over on the Patreon. So make sure you check out Patreon. But, that's one of the reasons why I do it. Like, it takes me days, probably, Enzo X probably took me a couple weeks to wrap my mind around, just because it was like one of my first full synths. Like, I was like, to be honest, it was a huge learning curve for me. But once I got through that learning curve, I pretty much could use any synth. It wasn't the pedal being complicated. It was more the fact that I didn't know what I was doing with a synth pedal. And the same thing with the Future Impact. I had to really learn, like, go to synth school, you know what I'm saying, and really learn some stuff. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, I might get a Mood, Chase Mood, the 2, I think it is. They got, the pink joint, or purple one, I believe. Whichever the newer one is. I might grab one, thinking about it. Thinking about a Lost World, I think it is, as well, the green one. Thinking about that as well. Yeah, for $185, you definitely should have grabbed that Mood. Boy, that thing not cheap. As long as it's, if it's version 2, especially. I can't get over the fact that, first of all, Enzo X switches automatically between my bass and the Midi controller. Just foolishness. Like, why? Why would you be able to do that? I know I've had this pedal, and the crazy part is I've had the Enzo X forever. I mean, not forever, but since it came out, like maybe a few months after it came out, because I was really on the fence about it. I wasn't sure just because of the price tag. For me, I thought it, but I went ahead for you guys, for the sake of you guys, I got the Enzo X, and it ended up changing my life. Like, in terms of like what I'm capable of from my bass, I never thought I would have been able to get sounds like that from playing my bass. Like, I was always trying to get to those sounds, but I never could. So that's one of the beautiful things about, a company like Meris. Like, the Mercury X is going to be a whole different thing, and it's an amazing thing, but the Enzo X definitely allows me to, it replaces all my choruses and stuff. Let's get the actual bass sound. Pull up my Aguilar. This is a color box and an Aguilar AG preamp on a ToneX one. So, and that's just using one effect at a time in the Enzo X. I like, you know, so that's the chorus. Let me get this under control here. I don't want that biting like that. First of all, the space that the Mercury X adds is insane. But we'll get to that in a second. Beautiful flanger. Oh, that's why I ain't had my end of the chain there. It's like, where did volume go? I use the Mercury X as the end of my chain. Even when it's not doing reverb, it's my always on pedal now. It's it has this amazing compressor and limiter in there. Actually has 4 of them. A compressor link, and the difference is the compressor link compresses the left and right channel separately, while the compressor compresses them, you know, sums them together and compresses that signal. And same thing with the limiter and limiter link. I use the compressor link running parallel, you know, meaning half wet, half dry, at a 10-to-1 ratio, and with a slow attack and a fast release. And then I have that op amp running, which is in the preamp section or drive section. It's the preamp and drive sections are like interchangeable on the Enzo X and the Mercury X. So sometimes I say that, and I mean, it's the op amp, low gain, you know, but just for the saturation. And then I also have a high pass filter on there, so it just rounds out my tone in general. So beautiful flanger. Put that back. Boom. Beautiful phaser. So beautiful, just beautiful phaser, beautiful chorus. So beautiful flanger. Beautiful phaser. And they all let you retain a good amount of low end, like a lot of clarity. It's like they can be, you can, of course you can have more extreme settings than those, but those are like really universal settings that'll work for any instrument. Like I was running keys and bass and other sounds, that those particular settings pretty much will work for anything I have going on. So that's really the only chorus setting I need, the only chorus sound I need. Other than I may use like D-tune or something else, but I can create that within there as well. I can do D-tune, I can do the phaser, the chorus, the flanger. It's got a tremolo, it's got vibrato, bit crusher, and this beautiful ring mod. I love this ring mod so much. How did I have this set up? And let's go to page 6. It just automatically makes it a synth type sound. And it's envelope triggered. Like that's what's making, I have that ring mod being triggered by the envelope thanks to the Enzo X allowing you to have 2 different LFOs you can set up. Sample and hold, which is like random, settings, number generator type thing. So basically it would just do random stuff there. And I can have it set up to be triggered, different parameters to be triggered by the envelope, meaning when I play a note, you notice every time I play a note, it starts over. But if I just let it go, it'll do its own thing. So, and then you have the, you can have it set to the hold modifier as well. And so the mix, in this situation, the mix is set to the hold modifier. So when I turn the hold modifier switch off on the Enzo X, I'm triggering it through the Midi capture. You can see the light here turning on and off. So when it's off, the mix is on 0. When I turn it on, 100% mix. And then, of course, go from there. But so, and then you got a beautiful bit crusher in there too that's really nice. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. So it's literally replaced all my drive pedals. I got 3 different drives in there that I can use: a tube drive, transistor, and the op amp. The op amp is my one of choice. Sounds the best for bass sounds. And, if you want it like, so basically, the way it's kind of set up, the way I look at it, the op amp is the best one for bass. The tube emphasizes the high frequencies a lot, and while the transistor or one gives you more mid presence. So that's just kind of way I look at those, and that also have a bit crusher in that section as well. So this is just a ridiculous amount of stuff you could do. You know, you can have combinations of effects. Like you can have your drive. Oh, let's not forget the amazing filter that's in the joint. The filter funk. The filter. That's my bass without it. With it. And I love that it's an all analog signal path, like for my dry signal. Just a nasty, nasty filter. I can easily go and add some resonance if I wanted it to stand out more. And again, this is being triggered by the envelope, so the envelope modifier. So, you know, that's how you would make an envelope filter with it. You would pretty much set the frequency cutoff to the envelope modifier on there. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. Let's see what I got on here. Yep. Come over to the filter section. Come over here to the filter section. If I want it more subtle. Or I can add some drive. I mean, you can just get this nasty. Sorry, it doesn't have tremolo. It has chorus, flanger, phaser, vibrato, and ring mod in the modulation section. Sorry about that. The Mercury X has the tremolo. Let me just make sure I'm saying that correct. Yep. The Mercury X has the 79 chorus, vibrato, vowel mod, and the vowel mod on this joint is crazy too. It's give you like that talking filter type sound, and you can use two different vowel sounds on it. Tremolo, and hazy. And the hazy joint on here is crazy. It's like a lo-fi machine. It's like a worn out tape machine, but you can choose the disseminate is kind of like a bit crusher, while you're getting that you can control the age of the tape and the warble. So that's kind of crazy. But anyway, you can get funky with these. You, to be honest with you, if I only if I want the cleanest studio sound I could possibly get, and I didn't want to add amp models right then and there, I would just run through the Mercury X and straight into a board, because of that preamp where I got it set up is just fire. You know, I love the Empress compressor. It does add flavor. You know, it's first of all, let me not underrate the Empress compressor. Is fire. You know what I'm saying? Just a fire. That's why it's on the board. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, with the ToneX one, it does add those amazing amp models, unlimited amp models. You can 11 different preamp packs available on Patreon. But even if I take those two away, and I'm just running the Enzo X and the Mercury X, still getting fire on there, still getting nastiness. Even the Mercury X by itself, I can do the EQing from my bass. Let me just turn it off. This is just my bass by itself. So, bam, you kick on that Negus preamp setting on the Mercury X. So, just that's all you need. Like, what else you need? I mean, it's like I was tossed up today. You know, today I just gig with my ToneX one, my other ToneX one. I have a black one like this, and I was you know, just did church early with just that, and I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, I love it. You know what I'm saying? But if I wanted, like, I can say that I could really just have my bass in the Mercury X and go crazy. And go crazy on stage. Like, I mean, like, between the freeze functions, the ability to be my bass preamp, listen to how that tightened my bass sound up. That's that's like, that is studio quality compressing right there. Wow, still like adds that bit of creaminess from that op amp. Let me see. Let me turn the op amp off. So this is what I was saying, that the op amp adds that nice little bit of saturation to the sound. So this is with no preamp, just the compressor. The compressor and the high pass filter. All right, so now with it, tell me that joint. It just adds just a nice touch of beautiful saturation to it. See what we got here. So how do you triplet ghost slaps? I mean that. So it's just down, up, pluck, down, up, pluck, down, up, pluck. You can do it with down, up, pluck, pluck, pluck. You can do all the things. I only do usually down, up, pluck, and down, up, pluck, pluck, and different combinations of those. So that's pretty much how I get the ghost notes and all that stuff with the slapping in terms of the triplet stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment on the tone. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pricey setup. It's not that pricey though. If you think about this, people spend $1,200, almost like $1,800 on a Noble preamp by itself. By itself. H90 can run you $900 by itself. You see what I'm saying? You can get a Mercury X and an Enzo X for $1,200. And not only that, you're getting some capabilities that you don't find in other effects. You will never, I mean, none of the reverb pedals that are out right now are even close to the Mercury X. None of these synth pedals out are even close to doing what the Enzo X is intended to do. You know, same thing with the Future Impact V4 VIP synth. Nothing in the vintage bass synth pedal market is going to touch that at the moment. Not the bass, MXR bass synth, none of them joints. So vintage bass synths, this is like my new bass synths and like pads, ARPs, all that is ton of stuff. And this is just like it's not just a reverb pedal. It's got delay in there too. You can design delays. You can design the reverbs. You got 8 different reverb algorithms in there. My favorite is the Prism. I use that for majority of things, but Gravity is amazing, and all the other ones as well. Then you got preamps, compressor, limiters, freeze, diffusion. What's the other one? Diffusion, and it's something else you can use as a preamp in there. But then you got the modulations and stuff. Then the modifiers to tie all the stuff together, plus the beautiful filters that are available. 3 different filters. You know, ladder filter, which is like a ladder filter and a state variable filter. So the ladder is a negative 24 dB, and the state variable is a negative 12 dB, excuse me. And those are like Moog style filters, Moog quality filters. You know what I'm saying? So and that sound good by themselves on your instrument. Like if I wanted to, you know, play a guitar and get a great sound out of any of those effects on the Enzo X, it's possible. Those effects work for keys. They work for everything. Trumpet, saxophone, clarinet, flute, tuba. Whatever you want to run through the Enzo X or the Mercury X is going to sound amazing and sound way better than it did running without it. It's to the point where, like I said, if you can just... What other reverb pedal is going to do that? That's meant to be a reverb pedal. That's going to be able to just be your bass preamp too. Like, that's crazy. And that sounds good. It doesn't matter if it has the functionality and it doesn't sound good doing it. It's got to sound amazing doing it and sound like that is a studio quality. That level of sound quality is normally a few $1,000s. You know what I'm saying? You could easily spend a grip on a rack reverbs trying to get to all the sounds you get on there. So I'm trying to tell you, do either have a yes, the Mercury X, you can do any type of reverb on there. I'm not gonna lie to you, like you can do any type of reverb on there. And the pitch shifting, like, you know, they both have pitch shifters as well, monophonic and polyphonic on the Enzo X. On the Mercury, you get 3 different pitch shifting. The polychroma, um, you get a lo-fi one, and then there's one more in there. And the lo-fi one lets you have, you know, 2 different pitches, one on the left, one on the right. You know what I'm saying? So you can have like a fifth on the left and a octave up on the right. So it's a lot of options. But yeah, so that's why I would definitely encourage you to have you a nice little MIDI setup. You know what I'm saying? It's fire. But yeah, so MIDI is kind of the way to go. You know what I'm saying, in terms of getting your board functional, and not just functional, but getting it so even if you use a lot of pedals like myself, you know what I'm saying, you're actually getting a good use out of them. Let's see what's going on here. And the hard part is just setting it up. Once you set it up, it's done. It's over with. You ain't got to worry about it. But you got to set it up. And, you know, once you do that, though, I promise you'll thank me later. So let me see something here. Let's get back. But, yeah, so essentially, you daisy, you know, in case you want to know, just a recap real quick. You basically daisy chain your pedals together if you got MIDI in and out, or keep in mind that, you know, if you got USB MIDI, you can run that as well. Like I said, I recommend something like a CME H2 MIDI Pro or H4 MIDI Pro. I have both of them. One's smaller and one's the bigger one. The bigger one is underneath the board, and that pretty much is distributes all the MIDI throughout the board, and that allows me to configure things in the computer routing wise. I can go on the computer, configure what I want to go to what and what I don't want to go to what, literally. Like, so say I didn't want this MIDI controller to go to the Enzo X. I could block it through the software of the CME software for the H2 MIDI Pro or the H4 MIDI Pro. And get you something like a MIDI Captain. If you get a MIDI Captain, you need to get the rechargeable batteries or some AA's or something like that. I recommend rechargeable batteries because it will recharge them. And then plug it in and then allow that to run. Yes, this whole setup is powered by a True Tone CS12. And I actually could power this MIDI controller and the MIDI Captain off of it as well, off that CS12 as well. But I will say I am switching over to the Canvas Power 15. The CS12, while it does has 12 outputs, it only 9 of them are 9-volt. Right, and they aren't all, even though, and it's one thing is cool about it does have variable power, so it can switch the milliamps to whatever outlet it needs to. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's left. But the Canvas one allows for me to have 15 9-volt 500 milliamp hour outlets, and it's on sale for like $215 right now. So for $215, that's a steal. You know what I'm saying? $215 for 15 9-volt 500 milliamp isolated outputs is insane. So that's what I'll be switching to. That's one of my biggest beef with a lot of power supplies, like even the MXR ISO brick. I have one of those on my desk powering the keyboard pedals, and it pretty much is a even though it had, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it has 10 outputs, but I can only use 8 of them because only 8 of them are 9-volt compatible. The other 2 are 18 volts. On the CS12, you get 1 AC 9-volt. I can't use that. And you get 2 18-volt, and that's just taking up space at this point because I'm not using any 18-volt pedal. So the canvas one, I'll probably be selling both. Well, not both. I'll probably sell one of my CS12s. I have 2 CS12s. You normally to power a big board, but I might get rid of that and just daisy chain the canvas ones together. Yeah, I had to get converters too because the polarity was different than most of the 18-volt stuff. So I had to get a little polarity converter, something that flipped the polarity of the 18-volt outlets. Yeah, I try to avoid daisy chaining anything. Like I avoid it like the plague. That's why I have so many power bricks. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of outlets. So yeah, and the canvas systems are completely modular. So even if 15 outlets wasn't enough, I can get another 15 outlets, or I could get they also have the one that's 22 outlets. And when I was tempted to go for that, but that one was like an extra $100 and something, and this, for 215 is a steal for 15, isolated 9-volt, 500 milliamp hour, or 500 milliamp outputs. You know what I'm saying? That is a steal for that amount. And the fact that I can upgrade it with a smaller unit, a bigger unit. If I wanted to run a bigger canvas 22 and the 15 together, I could daisy chain them together and run all that off of one power supply. Now I'm running like 30 some pedals. What is that? I don't even know what that is. What is that? 37 pedals off of one outlet. That's insane. Or I could run up to 44 if I run the canvas power 22 joints. Like, just run this 44 outlets. That's crazy. And they're all isolated. And I trust Canvas making power supply. I'm gonna see what it is, when I get it. But I think that's a nice option for 215. So check those out. Matter of fact, let me go and put a link to that in the description here for you guys, in case you're interested. Yeah, man. But yeah, so once you get into the MIDI and you learn what you're doing, you start to see the potential beyond just even preset changes or parameter changes. You can literally have your entire band synced up through MIDI. You can have your whole show linked set up through MIDI. And have like the MIDI captain triggering when things are happening in the show. It can be lights, it can be graphics on the screen, it can be changing the sheet music on your iPad. MIDI does so much stuff, it's just ridiculous, Yeah, I don't buy separate tuner pedals at all. I've never bought a separate tuner pedal because the majority of pedals I have I mean, not the majority. A lot of pedals I have tuners on them. All the Zoom pedals have tuners. The Future Impacts has a tuner. The Enzo X has a tuner. HX1 has a tuner, and so does the Mercury X. All of those things have tuners, so I don't really buy tuner pedals separately, ever. I think that's something you really don't need to buy, like, ever. Now, I do have a separate tuner that, like, you know, just like the regular old little square tuners, I have a couple of those, and I keep one, always keep one of those in my bag, on my bass bag, in case I need to not use my pedal board for whatever reason, or just take my bass and I forget to grab anything else. I always got a tuner. You always want to keep a tuner, but I've never bought a tuner pedal. Yes, that is a great observation, Big Suno. It definitely gets hot. That CS12 gets hot, and I don't want it messing with my Meris pedals because it's right underneath here. So it's right underneath the Enzo X and the HX1. So I have that fan there. So when I'm leaving my board on for hours and hours and hours, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't get hot, and it protects my pedals and protects the power supply itself. Now, I will say I've never had a problem. This is, I'm only using the fan as a precaution. I've never had an issue with the CS12s clunking out on me. They've been super stable, rock solid. I actually love the plug on them. It uses the bigger plugs like amps do. You know what I'm saying? And that's better for road worthiness. But, you know, they're a little chunky and they're a little heavy. They add quite a bit of weight to your setup. So that's something else to be aware of. Hey, man, I don't care about no screensaver. Yeah. Let me see some. Let me pull this up for you guys. Put this in the chat. Put this in the chat. So bam, that's that Amazon link there. Matter of fact, let me copy this. So that way everybody got it on all the different platforms. That's for that Canvas audio joint. Check that joint out. And like I said, you can daisy chain these joints together, and that's insane. And these are normally $300. They got them on sale for $215 right now. So if you're in the market for a really good power supply, that Canvas one seems to be the way to go. And I'll be doing a review on it too. But I will say, like I said, the CS12s have been rock solid, and they do have some new, True Tone has some new power supplies out. These are the older CS12s. Excuse me. Oh yeah, they got options, all 5 options. They got 5 outlet, 8 outlet, 15 outlet, and 22 outlet on there. Canvas, hit me up, folks. Hit me up, Canvas. You know what I'm saying? I'm also running Canvas line isolator, stereo line isolator for, at the end of my pedal board. So to get the pedal board back to the mixer, I'm running that, you know what I'm saying? And that gives me great sound quality. That's a huge part of why the Meris pedals sound so good coming in through the system. And the ToneX pedals is that line isolator. I can't believe this daggone reverb pedal is like that. Like, for bass. Yeah, I haven't. I've seen those with I can't even pronounce clocks. Yeah, I've checked those out as well. You know, those are fine. You know, really any isolated power supply, like it just needs to have isolated power, isolated outlets. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you go with a MXR ISO brick, True Tone, Canvas, clocks. I'm trying to think of some other ones. There's a bunch of Voodoo. It doesn't, as long as they are isolated, that is what you're looking for. Isolated outputs. Now, past that, you're looking for milliamps. Like, how many total milliamps can this power thing hold? And how many, when it comes to something like you want something that has enough higher powered 9-volt outlets. Thank y'all for subscribing. I appreciate that. Norm G and Johnny, appreciate all y'all. Sure, I can do that. Future impact through the. You want to hear it with the keyboard or the bass? I have it set up for both. Let's start with the bass. Let's see what I get. Give me 1 second, folks. That's something we got to get the reverbs on. Put the reverbs on that. That'll work. So yeah, literally that whole backing track was the um, Future Impact with all the synths there. So all the main sounds there were the Future Impact, and I used the Enzo X on the solo sound there. Well, I used the Future Impact for all the actual sounds, but I used the ring mod and the on the Enzo X and the Negus Picture 2, which is a reverb patch I created on the Mercury X. So the synth sound, all that's on the synth sound. That's what? Buy my preset packs. Buy it now. You go and you buy it now. That's what you do. What you doing? What you doing with yourself? You're sitting on the couch. You're wasting your time. Go buy my preset packs. Yeah. Trying to tell you, what? Don't waste your time trying to get to that. You could get that tomorrow. You could get it tonight. If you go and download it right now, you'll have it in the next few seconds. That is a stupid extensive sound there. First of all, that needs to be a patch. So, beauty of MIDI, I don't have to try to get back to that. All I got to do is go in here right now and program it into the MIDI cabinet. So, this is the beautiful part. So, what I need with this would be, I need an off message for the Hog 2. I need a PC message of 18 for the Future Impact. I also need PC message 23 for the Enzo X, the bypass for the HX1, and preset program PC message, 78 on the Mercury X here. So let's go and set that up. Come in here, channel 1. Set that to CC message. Where is it? Well, I don't have it on here. That's okay, because that's what the manual's for. It doesn't take but a second. Always keep my manuals close by, especially when you're dealing with MIDI. You're going to need it. Guaranteed. 85. Should have had that written on here. But that's not 8. All right. CC number, what did I say, 85? Yeah, 85. 85. That's Hog 2 bypass. Like I said, certain CC messages, you're going to definitely want to have them writing those down, because otherwise you're going to have to keep going back to the manual 50,000 times when these same parameters are going to come up time and time again for you to program stuff. So things like bypass switches, expression parameters, or like if you have like a hold parameter or a flux, something like that, tap tempo, set all that up. So 85, change that to 0. Then for the Future Impact on channel 2, we're going to set that to a program change of 18. Channel 3, it's going to be program change 123. HX1 is on channel 4, and that's going to be a CC message. I don't have that one up here either. Dang it. Gotta go grab that one too. No big deal. That's a CC message number 1. Is HX1 bypass. Okay, so change that to 1, and the value of 0. 0 is off. To 127 would be on. So 0 to 120, 0 to 62 would be off. 63 to 127 would be on for the values of that. If I wanted it to toggle, I could also have it do that. And then program change number 5, MIDI channel number 5, program change 78, because that's what the preset is on there. Just check all my numbers real quick. That looks just about right. And I still got 7 more parameters I could do if I wanted to, or program at the moment. So I think that's it. So let's go ahead. Let's turn on the Hog 2. Let's change this to something. Oh man, that's not what I want to change. You want to change this to something else? Change that to something else. Turn that on. Change that to something else. Now we're going to save that there. That's saved. So now you'll see everything change. You're going to see this turn off, this turn to 18, this turn to the ring mod. It's going to turn off the HX1, and it's going to change that to 78. Voila. So now I can easily go from one sound to this sound. Matter of fact, I want to send a CC message to turn on the ring mod channel as well. So I wanted to turn on the ring, the hold modifier, and to turn on the mix for the ring mod as well. So that's going to be CC message number 118. So channel 3, CC message 118, and I want to set that to 127. So now, in addition to all that other stuff, when I press it, let's change everything again. Turn that on. Let's change that. Changing it all up. Why that's toggling? I don't want that to toggle. Let me see some. So I need to change. It's actually, so that's if I wanted to emulate the on and off switch, which I needed. Never mind. I'm gonna go change that. So this is not the bypass. This is the on and off switch. But if I wanted to be able to bypass it the way I'm trying to and control it, I got to use CC message number 4. So this is going to be on and off switch, and then CC number 4 would be the actual bypass. HX1 bypass / engage. And I know that seems like the same thing, but it's not. If I wanted to have this not toggle like that, you know, and they have it set up like that. So if basically the on and off switch, if I'm using that, if I'm using a looper, I wanted to use that CC number 1 to play and stop the loop, right? So that's what that would be for. So in this case, we want on number 4, we want CC message number 4. All right, so let's do it again. Turn that on. Let's turn that to something else, something else, something else. Turn that on. Let's try it again. Bam. That's perfect. I'm going to send one more CC message just to make sure that this future impact cuts on during this. From, I think we use 66 as the preferred one. So CC message. So this future impact is on number 2. CC message, just to make sure it cuts on. 127, 66 is the message number. And off, on. So one sound that has the hog 2, the Enzo X flanger, and the Leslie setting on the Negus Leslie on the Mercury X. Then we change that from there to so yeah, it's just amazing. And yes, I definitely buy equipment. All the equipment you're looking at, with the exception of the Mercury X and the ToneX 1, I bought. So, you know, I've only, you know, I definitely buy equipment. Now, I'm not in the market for any used equipment at the moment. I'm actually selling a ton of equipment right now. If you go to my Reverb page, I got a bunch of pedals up there, OC5, MXR Poly Blue, MXR Layers, the Zoom MS-60B Plus, what else we got? The Source Audio Spectrum Filter, Zoom B3, you know what I'm saying? So all that stuff is up on there, so. Yeah, like I said, the cool part is you got these different presets. You could just go from just go straight in from something else and you just right there. You know, and that's what I really, really love about the Midi, using the Midi in your setup. It will, in a show, you don't understand the convenience that has. Like the convenience of being able to go from that sound all the way to my full flushed out synth sound, everything just ready to go. That is so useful. And mind you, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on presets on this one page I can do. And I have 16 pages. First 5 is one of, is the presets of each individual pedals. Then number 6, page 6 is controllers of all the pedals on one page, like different things I would want to control of all the pedals on one page. And then page 7 is going to start all the presets. And then I got 7 through 16 to do presets with eight foot switches each. I can even change these. If I wanted to do 10 foot switches per page, I could. And just use this black knob here, this little rotary knob, and change pages. So, you don't even have to use these as the up down. You can use them as additional presets. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for one, I was being hard on the MIDI Captain before I realized that you need the rechargeable batteries in there in order, just in case when you go to save it, like, and you move it a little bit and something happens with the power supplies in the back. That, I will say these power supplies in the back are a little janky. That's why you need the rechargeable batteries, to be honest, because it glitch out if you happen to move it a bit and it just happen to lose power for any split second, it will then glitch on you. But since I put the rechargeable batteries in there and then I have it running on USB power right now, but I can run it on a 9-volt battery on the power brick supply, power brick supply, whatever, brick power supply, I don't know. I can have it run on there as well, and it recharges the batteries as it's on. Like, it's recharging the batteries now as it's been on. So, and I might get a wireless, they make a wireless adapter for these as well. So, check that out as well. If you don't, you got the rechargeable batteries, you can then have the MIDI, the wireless MIDI. Excuse me. Then you can move this around anywhere you want with the rechargeable batteries in there. So, yeah, definitely check out adding MIDI to your board. I'm willing to bet a lot of you guys have some amazing pedals that have great MIDI capabilities. I had the Hog 2 for years and never used none of the MIDI capabilities. Now I'm just starting to really use the MIDI capabilities of it. But I find that it opens up the flexibility of the unit so much and allows you to really get to everything you want to get to, even when it's not physically available to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's nice to be able to just press a foot switch and have everything change, or almost everything. I still have 4 pedals on here that aren't MIDI capable, but the Empress compressor's always on. The MXR bass synth, I'll just have to bend down and press that preset button if I to get my presets. And the same thing with the Mel 9 and the ToneX pedal. ToneX pedal actually can, there's some companies that make a MIDI controller for the ToneX one. Only reason I haven't invested in it is because they also give you a disclaimer if ToneX makes or IK Multimedia makes a upgrade to the ToneX pedals, it may or may not still work with that controller because it's USB. It converts the USB messages to MIDI messages. So That's essentially how they work with the ToneX 1 pedals. So, I don't really want to fool with that too much. So, I only got 3 pedals I really even have to touch, and really only have to touch one of those, a good amount of the time, and that's the ToneX 1. You know what I'm saying? The Mel 9, I really don't have to touch that for every single sound. That's only a few sounds I'm using on there. I'm only using like 4 sounds on there. And the MXR bass synth, I got my presets on there that I use, but as you can see, the Future Impact is my main bass synth rig, and the Enzo X is my main pad, and synth and effects is my main effects rig, and Mercury X ends up being my finishing, my studio channel strip really, and my reverb pedal with all the awesome extra effects. And the HX1 I use like a delay pedal most of the time. So, and I'm using it on here as a looper at the moment until I get an LVX, Meris LVX. I'll probably grab one of those as well. So eventually you'll see an Enzo X, a LVX, and a Mercury X up here. So yeah, it's going to get crazy after a while. But yeah, look into the MIDI of your pedals, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Source Audio pedals have it. The Zoom pedals have it. The multi-stomps have it. And whatever pedal I got right there together. The Electro-Harmonix V256 also has MIDI. Can be played through MIDI as well. And it's a vocoder. I can play with a keyboard. I can play with my bass or guitar, whatever. So, yeah, MIDI it's not something to be scared of. It's something once you learn, you will definitely be incorporating it a lot into your rig. And you don't have to spend $1 million doing it. Get you a CME H4 MIDI Pro. I just recommend go and get the big one. Go on, whoa. But go and get the big one. You know what I'm saying? Don't get I got an H2 MIDI Pro, and that served me fine forever. But if you tight on space underneath your pedalboard, get an H2 MIDI Pro. That'll do you just fine. But if you want real flexibility to your rig, a H4 MIDI Pro is going to give you way more flexibility than you're ever going to need. And get you something like a MIDI Captain. These are like 160, 170. Get you some rechargeable batteries and run it on the rechargeable batteries and a power supply at the same time, and that'll avoid any glitches. And then, bam, you in the game. If you get you an Enzo X, you only have to get you a keyboard. You know what I'm saying? You got you a sound module, a synth, pretty much a synth keyboard and a pedal that you can use all the individual effects on your bass or guitar or whatever. So yeah, check all that stuff out. But that's all I'm gonna do for now. I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It means the world to me that y'all would stop by and hang out with me on a Sunday evening. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that Cash App Super Chat if you're feeling up to it, if this was useful to you. As well as check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel long term, or if you want in my preset packs. You know what I'm saying? Check all that out on there. We got plenty of preset packs for a lot of different pedals. So if you like my sounds and you like, oh, maybe he has this pedal or that pedal, go check it out on the Patreon, see if it might be there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's all I'm going to do for today. This has been another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I am the Bass Negus. You can find me on all social media at the Bass Negus. And if you want to check out any of my music, you can do that at allbasscreations.bandcamp.com, where I created an album with just my bass and effects, as well as some of my singles on there. And some of the singles I'm playing bass, keys, and drums. I'm playing everything, and produced it, mixed it, mastered it, and put it out, and composed it. So check all that stuff out on